Back with James from Daily Use of Sports Trivia, and yes, he's wearing this awesome Panthers colored cowboy hat because it's his birthday. Happy
It's
birthday,
my birthday!
sir. He's like 27 years young.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, man. Anyway, what we're going to do is our Q&A for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 5. And if you hadn't seen the previous Q&As, check those out. But what he's going to be doing is reading the questions directly off the comment section from you guys.
I gotta say, this was my favorite episode of all time.
Because it was his only episode of all time.
So I finally came over and watched one with him, man.
Right. So now we can binge watch, right? The whole series.
I'm ready. I loved it.
We'll get him called up.
I'm really not kidding, though. I mean, I could tell by your reaction that you thought it was an awesome episode. Too.
Oh yeah, it was a fucking emotional roller coaster. It was still horrible to lose Summer, another direwolf, just for budget reasons or what. I don't buy that either. I don't know why they're doing that. But anyway, and of course Hodor, who's been there since Season 1.
These are all purely random. This is from Mr. Scotty 301.
Mr. Scotty.
Q&A number 2. Sorry I didn't see Q&A number 1. It says, James, buddy, pick this one because I think it's good.
Mm-hmm. Not being biased there at all, picking that question.
Maybe it wasn't random. I saw my name. Do you think that now because Bran has been marked by the White Walker, Night's King, when he passes through the wall, the White Walkers will be able to follow him? So they don't need to bring it down, they have their loophole.
Yeah, I think that would happen for sure. I mean, Bloodraven said, you know, when Bran said, well, he can't get in here, he said, well, he can now because he touched you, he's marked you, and he has that frostbite on his arm. And so you would assume that, yeah, if he goes beyond the wall, that will break that warding spell as well. So I believe the wall is coming down one way or the other, and so I definitely think that could happen, but we got to remember, too, that Bloodraven told Bran, so you would think he would know better.
Yes,
you know, so
he did tell him.
But also
you screwed up, is what he told him.
Right, you're right. But he knew it was going to happen anyway, which is why he had to create the whole Hodor time loop. Anyway, yeah, you would think he would know better, but at the same time, where else is he going to go? I mean, he wants to go south. He wants to go. He don't have any help right now. It's just him and Mira, and he's still stuck.
Really.
He's still stuck.
Why
in this,
go up there?
Right, he's still stuck in this, Matrix, vision he's in, getting everything uploaded to him or whatever from Bloodraven as far as the memories or whatever in the werewood.net system. So we have no idea where he's going, but I would imagine she wants to go south.
I hope so. Let's see. This one's from me, Darby. Q&A. With what we know about the version of time travel happening in the show, do you think Bran could be responsible for the Mad King muttering, "Burn them all," in the days before Jaime kills him?
I think it's possible. I mean, the whole thing when Bran went back to the Tower of Joy and his dad heard him, and then of course there was a very similar scene, I guess you could say, in the books when Bran's first learning to have visions with Bloodraven. He goes back to Winterfell and Ned hears him there. Ned is praying at the Godswood in Winterfell, and Bran's watching this happen, and he interrupts him by saying "Father," and Ned hears something. So it's very similar in the book. So yeah, I'm liking this idea that the Mad King went crazy because he heard whispers. The only thing I would say about it that would be a negative as far as this little theory is that the Mad King went crazy over years and years and years. It wasn't just like a one-time thing. I think we may see a flashback of the Mad King dying via Jaime Lannister. It opens up so many possibilities with him being able to affect the past by at least whispers. So.
Okay, this question comes from Lucky to Be Here 815. Q&A. Do you think Ned knew Bran would be a green seer? He always goes to the weirwood tree. Could the reason be he is talking to future Bran?
No, I wouldn't think Ned would know that. Ned just went to worship his old gods, and there's no reason to believe he would know Bran's anyone special. It's implied that the Starks over years and years and years lost their knowledge or what have you of their past ancestors' abilities to warg and green sight and all the things associated with the Stark blood and Children of the Forest blood and all that kind of northern magic, because Ned really didn't want, he was going to kill the direwolves when they found them, and Bloodraven sent that direwolf to them to unlock their abilities. I think he would just be praying to the old gods, and I'll say this, I don't think there are any old gods, or any gods for that matter, in the story. I think the old gods are essentially green seers who can see through weirwood trees, like Bran, like Bloodraven. The old gods were adopted by the first men, but it was more like they actually adopted, the children themselves, but they just don't know that.
Moving right along, Chris G.
Chris G.
Nice picture, by the way. It says, Q&A. Your friend James implied you had a cool dog. Will he ever be in the spotlight? P.S. You're a sexy countryman, wear it like armor. And you and Val are the best Game of Thrones channels. I always want more vids from both. So how about Riddick? Is he ever going to be?
Yeah, we need to get Riddick up in here. He's just too low on the ground right now. He's a 100-pound German Shepherd, and yes, if you get the name Riddick, we can be friends. But yeah, I want to get him in some videos because he's my dire wolf. We need to get him a little stand back here or something so he can be seen, or maybe we need to sit on the floor. But what was the second part of that question?
Just saying, where you are a sexy country.
Oh yeah,
country
that's
boy.
right. Thank you. Yes, I do wear it like armor because I get my share of comments for my lovely accent.
Next we have Sparta King. Sparta King says, do you think that R plus L equals J will be confirmed episode 6 because young Ned will be in the episode?
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to reveal RLJ at least until episode 10, if not, dangle that carrot for season 7. So I think young Ned, a younger Ned, being in the next episode will probably be the Mad King flashback, where Jaime Lannister kills the Mad King, and this is where the theories come from about him going crazy because of Bran. What happens is Jaime kills the Mad King because he's ordering everybody to be killed by fire, and orders Jaime to bring him his own father's head, since he turned on Aerys and sacked the city.
That's cold-blooded.
Yeah, and so Jaime decided, you know what, fuck that, I'll just kill you. And so, yeah, that was a pretty good damn reason to kill the king, I guess, because he was fucking crazy. He actually saved the city. So, he kind of told Brienne that story. Basically what happened was once he killed Aerys, he sat down on the Iron Throne for a second. I don't think he was really thinking about being the king or anything or trying to take power himself, but Ned walks in during that time. And so Ned, from that point, kind of prejudged Jaime, and that's probably
saw him sitting there.
Because he saw him sitting there and he had just killed the king. He didn't know the whole story. I think that's what we may see Ned doing this next episode.
Next question, Michael Madsen. Q&A, do you think Bran could be Bran the Builder, whom built the wall through some sort of Hodor-like time loop?
I think that's a cool idea, and I've seen a lot of those too this week as far as the questions. Because how cool would it be for Bran to be not only responsible for bringing the wall down because he's marked,
right,
and being responsible for building it.
Oh, that's
a great idea, and it may go down that way. The only thing that I would say no to that, because how does he do that logistically, right? I mean, so Bran the Builder is this legendary figure that built the wall. This thing is 700 feet high and 300 miles long. He built Winterfell, he built Storm's End, all in a lifetime, which seems very impossible,
right,
in these medieval style times, right? It had to be. I mean, the wall is said to be built by men along with the children after they created this, zombie race of ice demons, and there was some magic involved with that. Obviously, they couldn't, physically build something that huge and that long. And I could see maybe a castle getting done in a lifetime, but not Storm's End and Winterfell and the wall. So there's definitely more to Bran the Builder than this, straight up guy who did all this exactly like it was said in history. So it would be very cool to see that some of these legends are not so straightforward as they think, right? Because in the same way that they don't believe in the legends of White Walkers and ice spiders and, all this kind of shit that are actually true. So I think it's a great idea. How does he go back in time and become Bran the Builder? I mean, he can't manifest himself physically. He can only travel as far as his consciousness. He would have to somehow influence somebody else to do it, or
right,
maybe there is some kind of power that they would delve into where he can manifest and become this person back in time and get with the children of the forest and however it happened and build the wall. But I don't see how that works, and I think that would almost get too much into the sci-fi realm of time travel all over the place, and it gets too sloppy. I don't think they're going to do much more than the Hodor loop as far as that goes. But it's a damn good idea. He hears about the legend growing up, and it's actually him.
And it's him. Yeah. That's just Noam Almog says, Q&A, do you think we will see Euron get the dragon binder from Valyria? Who's the Harpy, Dario or Euron?
I don't think we're going to see dragon binder in the show.
Could you explain dragon binder?
Yeah, so in the books there are two supposedly magical horns. One is called the Horn of Jormungand, or the Horn of Winter, and it supposedly wakes giants from the earth, which is the one that supposedly brings the wall down.
Okay.
And what I think that is a metaphor for earthquakes. In the show, when they found the dragon glass at the Fist of the First Men, they did show a little horn with that dragon glass. But I think it was more of an Easter egg for the book readers, because it went with Sam to Old Town and we never saw it again.
Right.
So in the King's Moot in the books, which is one of the things I said in the review, Euron comes up promising the world to everybody at the King's Moot to get their vote because he has Dragonbinder. And it's this giant horn that supposedly binds dragons where you can control them. And he basically says the same thing he did in the show, but only in a different way, in a kind of cooler way, because he's kind of a different character in the books, as the way he's portrayed. And he basically says, you know what? We're going to take the world over, because I'm going to go over and marry this dragon queen. I got this horn right here. We're going to take her damn dragons, and we're going to fucking conquer everything. So,
is this the uncle that came back from the dead? Or came back from drowning?
Right, yes. That's Euron. So that's Uncle Euron. And so I don't think in the show they're going to introduce Dragonbinder. They used, instead of that, they used a little gimmick that she needs ships. I'm thinking he's probably the one who went and had her ships burned. His angle in the show is she needs my ships, so I'm going to go give her ships, and she's going to marry me, and we're going to conquer the world together. So that's the angle in the show. So I don't think I'm going to introduce Dragonbinder, or the Horn of Winter for that matter.
Good question. Who's the Harpy, Dario or Euron?
I think, at this point, I still think it's Dario in the show. In the books, I don't think that necessarily. It kind of points to a character called the Green Grace. I don't think Euron is the Harpy, because if he actually plans on wedding Dany, he needs her. And I don't think he would put her in that kind of danger, them trying to actually kill her.
Right.
If he was the, as far as being the Harpy goes. So I would still lean towards Dario for sure in the show.
Everdome
Everdome
says, Q&A, any thoughts on how this Hodor event will affect Bran in the future? The whole end of that episode was just too sad.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be devastated. Think about that. You're this, green seer. He never asked for any of this shit. He got pushed out a damn window because he saw a twin cest. He starts having these weird dreams and all these weird visions. He doesn't understand why he can see through a wolf's eyes. And then he learns all this stuff. He goes on this trek all the way up north beyond the wall to God knows where. And then he finds out he's responsible for why Hodor is Hodor. That's got to be damn traumatic as hell. So yeah, he's not going to feel good about it. So hopefully he's learned his lesson about, fucking with the past. People are hating on Bran like it's all Bran's fault. Well, technically it's not. It had to happen that way. He had to have Hodor become Hodor to get him there and be there to save him.
Exactly.
And he's going to save the world, so it had to happen that way regardless of the blame. In this show, and it's known for ripping your heart out. But the thing is, that affected me more than the Red Wedding. I liked Robb. I didn't want to see Robb get killed or his wife. I didn't never really like Kat. I didn't give a shit. She got her throat slit. I didn't care about that too much. I just didn't like her. It's just not that I wanted it to happen. You know what I mean? I love the Starks. Right. But I didn't like her because she always blamed Jon for being a bastard. Like he can help it. And but I liked Robb. And the Red Wedding was a shocking moment.
As far as you go, this was it.
But as far as I go, this was the worst of all of them. Joffrey, we love seeing die. We always sit there going, laughing when his face turned purple. We all want to see Ramsay die a horrible death, but then these people like Hodor, who again are innocent, has no agenda whatsoever, and then he goes out like that. It's crazy.
Somebody actually mentions down here on that same question, you will cry more the second time you watch it. That's what made me.
No, I tell you what though, when I was editing that video, when I got to the end where I was talking about Hodor, because I focused on the Hodor time loop, right, or paradox, or whatever you want to call it. It was emotional again editing the damn video. So.
When I watched I'll be missing you little video.
And look, this will never be the same for Game of Thrones fans. This will change their lives literally. I don't care who you are. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, from now on, when you go to a store, when you open the door to your fucking house every day, it don't matter if somebody's asking you to hold the door. You're going to think about Hodor.
I believe that.
From this point on, every time you go into a building or go out a building or go into your own house, any kind of door being involved in your day,
I believe that.
You're going to be thinking Hodor, and you can get that little. I'm good. So
that was genius, though. Hodor, hold the door. Yeah. I loved it.
And that actually got predicted by accident, kind of as a joke, in 2008. Wow. Yeah, I'd have to find the article, but somebody on a blog or something somewhere said that as a joke, but they didn't tie it into Bran and all that. The reason why, but hold the door meaning Hodor. I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow. Okay, next we have Josmark Segura. Q&A. Do you think we'll see Benjen or Cold Hands next episode?
Yes, definitely Benjen, I think. I'm not sure they will do a Cold Hands in the show. They may have some kind of combination of Benjen / Cold Hands for the show. George R. Martin.
Book characters?
Yeah, Cold Hands is a book character. Benjen disappeared in season 1. There's really not anyone else it could be that's north of the wall. For you show-only watchers, Cold Hands is a character in the books. He's kind of mysterious. Nobody really knows who he is. George R. Martin has said it's not Benjen Stark in the books. But he is basically a white that still remembers being a brother of the Night's Watch. He wears a black cloak, and he rides an elk. He helps Bran and them to Bloodraven. So he doesn't even seem to realize he's a white, but he's like a dead man that still has memories and whatever. So it's really confusing when all the other whites are just mindless zombies that kill everybody. So I don't know if they'll do that in the show, only because you would have another mystery to solve, and like, who is he and why is he a white that, you know, seems to care about people and seems to be serving Bloodraven, and Bloodraven's now dead. So I think it's probably just straight up Benjen, but they could do some kind of weird, they could do some kind of weird, you know, crossover on the show. But yeah, I mean, that's the big question. Where the hell has Benjen been for 5.5 seasons? You know, he takes John to the wall. He's the first ranger. He takes off, and then you never see him again. And so where's he been all this time? You know, people speculate that he's the one who left the dragon glass at the Fist of the First Men because it was wrapped in the Night's Watch cloak.
Oh.
So like he's found out about the White Walkers or something, but what has he been doing, and where's he been camping for 5 damn years? And surviving, for that matter. So
well, I hope if they bring him back, they do explain
And
that.
the other reason I would think it would be Benjen and not like a Cold Hands type character is that he's swinging a fire flail, and in the books at least, Cold Hands is afraid of fire just like any white would be. So, and he can't cross the wall. Okay, in our next question we have Vikram Singh, and he says, Q&A. They really made one scene look damn important. One where Littlefinger says, your brother's army, half-brother. Do you think Littlefinger's still planning something? Maybe because distrust between Sansa and Jon.
They did make that scene look important because he kind of walks past. He's scared of the big tall lady. You know, she's already threatened to unleash her ass on him. And so he walks up and quietly says, half brother, and then walks off. So I do think he's got something up his sleeve. I think he's going to try to drive a wedge between them so that Jon doesn't get his name, his rightful name. That's my theory.
That's actually a very good thought.
Is it really?
Absolutely.
I was winging it bad.
No, that's really good because that's what I was going to say. I don't think he wants her to completely trust Jon. And she didn't necessarily just lie to Jon.
She's the only one that can vouch for him, you said, right? Right now?
Well, she's the only one that could give him the name. If she becomes Queen of the North and that's recognized.
Only if she becomes.
Yeah, it has to be a royal decree by a king. So like right now, Tommen could do it, but Tommen don't give a shit about it.
Okay.
So when she becomes a recognized Queen of the North, she could say, yes, you're a Stark. But then he's the male and all that kind of stuff. So he's definitely still up to something. He don't want her to trust him. She's keeping that ace up her sleeve. But then again, it wasn't just a direct lie to Jon. She didn't necessarily trust everybody in that room.
Yeah.
As far as Davos and Mel.
Because he asked the question, how did you know?
Right.
It seemed like a direct
lie to Jon. But it was more, I mean, it probably was, but also
I feel like that
she don't know Melisandre. She don't know Davos. She doesn't know, you know, all those people in the room. So.
I want one of those fur coats so bad. I would wear it on this show.
Well, apparently she's going to make the armor for everybody. She's going to make all the Stark armor. She's going to make all the Stark banners for the upcoming battle because where's that being produced? China?
Sweatshop somewhere.
Sweatshops and Essos?
Well, Bud, I'll tell you, I think now's a good time to wrap it up. I think we touched on most of the things that we needed to. I looked through here and I tried to find the repetitive ones so that I could ask what, you know, the majority wanted to know.
Right.
And again, I enjoyed coming over here and watching the episode with you, so I'll probably be back Sunday night if you'll have me. And
we'll do it again.
I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, we're going to get him caught up. We're going to sit down and binge watch again the whole damn series, you know. So
I know if he's willing to do that, it's a damn good series. So I'm in.
He'll be hooked from episode 1 though, because now he's kind of seen the end of it. Now he gets to see the beginning of it. So you're going to do it backwards, but
I don't care.
It's still cool. All right, guys. So that's all we have for this week's Q&A. Again, thanks to James from Daily Lucid Sports Trivia for you know, digging in, asking these questions, and doing this little panel thing. I really enjoy this format, and you guys seem to dig it. So we'll keep on doing it, and we'll get him called up. And happy birthday!
Thanks
by
again.
the way.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, let James know happy birthday in the comments, and let us know what you think in the comments as far as some of these questions and answers. That it's just my opinion. So feel free to have one in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And as always, guys, thanks for all the support. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. A special shout out to all my patrons from Patreon. I appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you